they're going to claim Arabs are working with militias and white supremacists. They're going to mix those three together to demonize militias. And I told you this for years. I could see this in their attack profile when I made my first film, America Destroyed by Design. Then when I made Road to Tyranny years later in 2002, I say in there, and I give the evidence of how they're planning this in their own documents and their own MO. They have created this history. And it is a script ready to be activated. They're going to say gun owners and veterans have now joined al-Qaeda. Now, I've been saying that for years. Fox News, CNN, BBC have now introduced that, saying white al-Qaeda, there's tens of thousands they're about to strike. It's totally asinine, totally ridiculous, but they don't care. You don't give up your farm or ranch, they're going to send in SWAT teams, they're going to kill you, and they're going to tell the dumb cops you were al-Qaeda. Now, I know this is incredible, but this is the attack profile. Now, they won't launch this if they know we're awake and up on our hind legs to stand up against them politically. That's why they're always probing, always sending up trial balloons, always testing. And that's why they've done this. In fact, guys, print me the actual document. I forgot to do that. I just read it. It's here on the article. Thank you. Now, remember that article, New York Times, which we told you about, again, years ago, because it was in Philadelphia Daily News in 2002, 2003, multiple articles where they were training the Boy Scouts with M16s with the local police and feds to, quote, gun confiscate and do door-to-door and fugitive apprehension and setting up cordons. And then you see the Army doing all these drills and then coming out at real events and helping at car wrecks and helping stop drunk drivers just to acclimate you. It's all happening, Red Dawn in slow motion. I'm risking my life to bring you this information. This is real, ladies and gentlemen. Government demands inventory of all VFW weapons. An InfoWars reader has passed along an email sent to VFW commanders by the Assistant Adjunct of the Department of Texas Veterans of Foreign Affairs, indicating the U.S. Army, TACOM, Tactical Army Command, is demanding an inventory of all weapons held by VFW post. While you may have had possession of the equipment for 20, 40, 60, or even 100 years, the email states it still belongs to the U.S. Army. Actually, possession's 9/10 of the law. Those were gifted until recently to the VFWs. You're a pack of lying scum as usual. You got to decide, veterans. Do you stand with George Washington, Thomas Jefferson? Do you stand with Andrew Jackson? Do you stand with John F. Kennedy, for that matter? Do you stand with the veterans and the patriots, or do you stand with the alien banking force that is taking control of our government? It's time to choose sides. It's time to draw lines in the sand. It's time to gut up and stop living in denial and making jokes about this. This is real. And if the enemy tests us and thinks you're going to go along with this and that you're living in delusion, they're going to pull the trigger on this. They're going to drop the hammer. They're going to initiate hot operations. Not this creeping death, lukewarm crap. This is it. This is it. You're in a war zone whether you like it or not. We've been hijacked by foreign offshore corporations. Grow up. We need you. VFW people, decide not to get drunk as skunks at your meeting this weekend. Decide to not screw around all day. All these other fraternal organizations. Decide to do something real. Get out and protest. Speak out against this. They are probing you. They're testing you. They know 70+% of donations from both parties went to Ron Paul from the military. They know the police are waking up. And police, use your brains. If they're telling you that veterans are the number one terror threat and that Homeland Security really was set up for them and Northcom set up for them, can you put 2 and 2 together and equal 4? What are most police? They're veterans. In Nazi Germany, Soviet Russia, Communist China, every other dictatorship, every other system like this, the most oppressed people in the watched are the security services. There's files on all of you, dummies. If you don't know this, you're a dummy. If you know it, you're not a dummy. You think it's fun that there's files on me and they won't give me my files from any of the agencies? There's files on you too, Jack. They know your number. They got psychiatrists and psychologists that go over your files. And by the way, they're coming after me. They got Psychology Today and Wired Magazine and the Wall Street Journal doing a feature story on me. I know what that means. They're introducing me to the world so they can crush me. I'm in God's hands, ladies and gentlemen, but I did everything I did willingly and knowingly. Understand that. Whatever comes. Because I have the victory in the end. I want people to know I've chosen this path. Whatever happens to me, don't let it discourage you. Realize it's a victory. It's a victory, ladies and gentlemen. Escape is not my plan. Escape should not be your plan. Facing the enemy is the key. This is from the Army document. While you may have had possession of this equipment for 20, 40, 60, or even 100 years, the email states it still belongs, it's a document, to the U.S. military. The email arrived with an inventory attachment where all weapons are to be listed, and the document sent to the Department of Texas Veterans of Foreign Affairs. The form will then be bounced off of the central database of all Texas VFW posts, U.S. Army TACOM. See, they just started doing this the last few decades, putting it in databases, and they'll burn a few, come out to a few VFW posts and try to harass people that didn't sign the old Civil War canon over or the World War I canon. They're scared, ladies and gentlemen. They know veterans, under the guise of military reenactments, have been buying their own cannons and their own armored vehicles and building their own armies. See, smart, the real militia's been shooting clubs, military history clubs. They're just out at the deer camp. Oh, they got a few APCs and some howitzers. This is getting everybody ready to go after those, you understand? That were, quote, pilfered off of the VFW. There'll be lots of snot-nosed anti-American fake patriots that'll say, yeah, you need to inventory that stuff from the VFW. The email arrived with an inventory attachment where all weapons are to be listed in the document sent to the Department of Texas Veterans of Foreign Wars. The form will be then bounced off the central database of all Texas VFW posts in the U.S. Army TACOM to verify serial numbers of each item that has been issued. This is a very extensive list and goes back to before the VFW was founded. So if you have a cannon from the Spanish-American War, it's on the list. Total lie. Many VFW halls around the... See, this is also part of getting you trained to answer questions. First, it's a 10-year census, then a yearly census. Now they say it's going to be a monthly census. Hundreds of questions they order you to answer, violating the Fifth Amendment. It's total bull. They announced on Homeland Security in 2003, as it was getting funded, I watched a 2-hour program on C-SPAN with Governor Ridge, saying they're going to have checkpoints in malls, street corners, buses, trains. Life will be like in the airports. And now they've announced they're going to start nationwide. Everyone will be searched at all the subways by the TSA. The feds are federalizing all transportation. It's happening, people. And all you stupid yuppies and people that serve the system and laugh at me about the New World Order and think you'll be part of it, this is all being set up so they can take your pension fund, so they can take your stocks and bonds. And so when you lose your standard of living and want to politically join us, the control grid will be in place, stupid. You got to wake up now, dummy. This is how tyrannies take over. You got it? We've seen this 1,000 times before. We know it. I'll finish up with this key story. Ron Paul and others coming up.
Springtime. Now that you've planted your organic garden, how will you keep the bugs away without using toxic chemicals and poisons? Well, the answer is all natural insecticides from FreshwaterOrganics.com. These revolutionary insecticides start with the same organic product that we use in FPP to kill parasites. We then add a small amount of pyrethrin from chrysanthemum flowers and a mild attractant to offer you the most effective insecticide available anywhere. It can even be applied up to the day of harvest. Our natural insecticides work in the home, on plants, and in your garden, killing pests mechanically, not with poisons. So pests can't develop an immunity, and they won't harm your children or pets. It's effective against white flies, moths, bedbugs, fleas, roaches, crickets, and more, and safe enough to use on your pets, ridding them of fleas and other pests. Order now from FreshwaterOrganics.com or call 888-949-3570, 888-949-3570 today.
Hey folks, Alex Jones here. I'm sending out a special alert to all those out there listening with credit card debt and struggling to make payments. I'm going to give you a very important phone number. Due to a declining economy and credit crisis, you now have the power to settle your debt and lower your payments by up to 60% or more by calling the Bailout Group. This program has already settled over $100 million of debt and are saving individual consumers thousands of dollars. Folks, if you are struggling with credit card debt and those excessive interest payments, the time is now to take advantage of this opportunity. Call the Bailout Group today at 1-800-324-6554. I hope our listeners take advantage of this. The call is free, and in 10 minutes they will show you how much you can save right over the phone with one simple call. Let the Bailout Group bail you out of debt, reduce your payments by up to 60%, and save you thousands of dollars today. That number again is 1-800-324-6554. 800-324-6554. The Bailout Group.
With food prices soaring to all-time highs, as the dollar continues